Alright, so I've never been the hugest champion of the Lord of the Rings franchise.
You're a
compared
jerk.
to you. But this news has me excited.
I'm so excited.
Shadow of War will let you bring in your worst Nemesis, and by that I mean your strongest, most fought Nemesis from the Nemesis system.
Killed you the most, yeah.
Yeah, of the original Shadow of Mordor. And your best companion, like ally.
Which is amazing.
So like your strongest ally that you've used the most in the game, which I would assume would be the most leveled up who's survived Nemesis encounters.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing news. And there's a lot to be excited about with this game. I'm kind of bummed. It was supposed to come out earlier, but it got pushed back to October 10th, I believe.
Which is, I'm fine with as long as it's good.
Right.
I don't care about the delays if they make the game better.
Right. I want to get my hands on it. You know, I cannot wait to play that game. And we just actually rewatched the official Shadow of War story trailer.
Uh-huh.
It looks incredible. There's a lot.
It looks like they're delving more with the ring this time than they did last time. Because I remember in the original they touch the ring, like they deal with elements of the ring, but like they said specifically, like, yeah, we didn't want to focus on like the ring element of like Lord of the Rings, and we didn't really want they didn't even want to name it Lord of the Rings, partially because they wanted it to be its own thing.
It's almost kind of like a little bit of a revenge story, a little bit in the first one. I mean, not entirely, but it is though. I mean, the Wraith is looking for vengeance, and so is our main character.
Yeah, because everybody's died.
They murdered. I mean, it happens in the opening scene. His entire family gets murdered.
And so well, the thing too is that, like, to me, like, this is a more interesting story. I know that this is a controversial statement. I'm more interested in this story than in the Lord of the Rings story.
That is so controversial.
Well, people love those movies, and like for me, it's like I never really thought Bilbo or Frodo were that fantastic of characters on their own. They're fine, but they're like unlikely heroes, and like to me, you don't really see them like fight things to the extent that you see this guy fight things. You know what I mean?
And
he is a warrior.
Definitely.
Bilbo and Frodo are not warriors. They are surrounded by warriors, but they're more like the unlikely hero who gets tossed into this world they don't really have a part in.
Yeah, which I think is what some people like about it. Though.
Oh yeah, that's what some people love.
It's the unlikely hero.
For me, that I don't know. Like for me, I was like, oh man, it would be so cool if like you could see like somebody fight the Balrog, you know?
Yeah.
And then in this story trailer, you see him about to fight the Balrog,
which is
it's like that's
so
sick.
Cool.
Like that's the kind of stuff I want to see. Like I want to see the Lord of the Rings franchise from the eyes of a character who can fight back.
Yes.
Competently.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with Frodo or Bilbo, but they're not really that character.
No. And that's what we got with Shadow of Mordor, and what was so surprising. We got a character that we could run around and rack up 50 kills in just a group of orcs, and it was amazingly well done. And that's something that people were so excited about, and a lot of people were surprised by this game. I mean, the first one that is Shadow of Mordor, they were so surprised.
Well, the Lord of the Rings games, like we talked about the quality recently. We did that DC animated movie video.
Yeah,
we talked about the quality of that universe being up and down like a roller coaster. The Lord of the Rings games are the same way.
Absolutely,
it is a roller coaster of quality. Like you'll have like these fantastic RTS games, and then you'll have like an adaptation of a movie that is just terrible.
It's awful.
And then it'll like pinwheel up again to like something really good.
Yeah.
And then it'll just crash. So like
they had like the Lego Lord of the Rings games.
Those are fun.
And the Hobbit, Lego Hobbit.
Yeah.
And those are good games. Lego makes amazing games.
But they're also good games because they're Lego games. They're not good games because they're Lord of the Rings games.
And you don't get to dive in. I mean, you get to dive into the world, but this is going into the dark Lord of the Rings world.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. And then you're just diving in, and you have an amazing character. You have a reason to fight. It's a great story, and it looks like they're building on that story even more and bringing in like elements from the previous game, and that's a really cool feature.
Yeah, and there were also a lot of problems in the original with I don't know if you knew about this, but rights holding issues, and that was one issue they had actually with Shadow of Mordor when they adapted it, which is why like it fits into the universe, but like I've even seen articles about it where they'll talk about Shadow of Mordor's uneasy relationship with the Lord of the Rings franchise and stuff like that. Like, they had some weird things going on when they made the game. And I don't know if those rights issues have been settled, but with how much they focused on the ring, it seems to me like that's not as big of an issue anymore.
Well, and it wasn't. They even brought in Gollum from in the first game. Gollum makes a few appearances in there, and they have obviously. I have a hard time saying it. Is it the Balrog? Is that how you say it?
I say the Balrog.
Balrog.
I've heard people say the Balrog.
Okay.
But I say Balrog, and I could be wrong. I've told you, like, I like Lord of the Rings. I'm not a huge fan of the movies. I think I like the books better.
Yeah.
From the books that I've read. But I don't like it to the extent that you like it and that I know other people like it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Like Lord of the Ring, your Star Wars, I would say, is my Harry Potter for you.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, Lord of the Rings is their Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And it's not that for me. But I like it.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
good.
could be saying it totally wrong. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
But them having those characters make appearances in the game is, I think it shows a little bit that they've figured out what they want to do. They have a direction. They have characters that they can use, and I don't know. I'm really excited to see that we're building up. Like in the story trailer that you can see. I don't know if this is the most recent trailer, but it's a trailer that we just watched.
Oh, I'm gonna have footage from story trailers in this because
Yeah.
I don't have captured gameplay of this game.
Right, and like building up an army and then going into battle. I love that element because you're on the ground creating your army. You know each of the characters that you've made in your army, and you can, I don't know if you can build them up stats wise or how that works, and then you go into battle.
What they need to add in is hot girls that you can romance. That's what they need.
Incredible.
And you put them in charge of your army, and they're your harem.
The missing link.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a genius.
I mean, that was my nickname in high school, the missing link.
That is-
because I'm a Neanderthal.
That is, I don't remember anyone ever calling you that.
Well, you should.
You're right.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'm interested in this. And the last thing I had to say about this, which I was gonna say earlier, and I got distracted by the Balrog, was that that was one of the things I liked about Mass Effect was you could bring in your characters and your decisions and import them from game to game. So it wasn't like, you know, the problem they have with the Telltale games where it's like, you made a decision last time. How do we deal with that? Let's fast forward 5 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because they don't want to design like multiple games or whatever. It was like you could bring in decisions you had made from the previous game that affected the story. You could bring in your custom character from the previous game, just import them into Character Creator, and they're done. And all this stuff was just importable. So to see elements of that show up here, in my opinion, is really cool.
Oh, absolutely.
And it makes it feel like the games are connected. It makes it feel like you don't feel like, oh, why'd I play that game? Like it had no effect on Shadow of War anyway. You feel like you did something. So the more of this type of thing we see in games, honestly, I'm on board with it 100%.
Absolutely.
I think it connects games, it connects player bases to the next title, and it makes you feel like I mean, they're games, they're not real, but it makes you feel like you accomplished something in between titles, which is really cool. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think. Are you excited for Shadow of War? Hit us up down in the comments.